And I read for 5 straight hours with no drugs, no ephedra, no caffeine. Now the dismount. So, Fred, if you know of anyone who'd love a nice energy lift through the day with no drugs, no caffeine, nothing in their system, let me know and I'll get them a sample. And if I'm not pitching him, I'm just letting him know, I'm telling my story. Because you'll find at least 7 out of 10 will say, well, that's kind of interesting. How does it work? Or, my wife would be interested in that. Okay? And that's really, remember, you're with a friend, so you don't want to end up with this hard edge, so you're ready to buy, because they can say no, and that's hurtful. So what you want to say is, so if you know of anyone who's had my instance, or if I tell my wife's story in sleep, you know of anyone who's had some sleep challenges and have tried these nasty drugs, well, let me know, and I'll give them a sample. And then, you just sort of let the conversation flow. So that is the way, again, that's the second elevator script, is your story. Now, the story could also be on the business side, where a typical story might be, hey, Mary, let me tell you what happened to Kath and I. I'm a little embarrassed, but we realized that we had run up credit card debts where, in fact, I'm embarrassed to say, we were paying credit card payments with other credit cards, and we began to panic. Then a friend of mine introduced me to a young tech company that he and his wife had joined, and my credit card debt is under control. So if you know anyone who's looking for a little extra cash flow, well, let me know, and I could share what Kath and I are doing. Okay? Now that's how you could introduce, or if you're a little bit bigger picture, you could say, I was in the real estate business, and I got tired of the ups and the downs and the flows of the market. The market was down. I didn't make any money. I don't care how hard I worked. When interest rates spiked to 12, 14%, my business died, but my expenses didn't. And I was thinking, man, if I could find a neat little revenue stream that just would keep growing and growing and growing regardless of the market and help me subsidize my real estate business, that would be magical. Well, let me tell you what happened. A friend of mine who's also in the real estate business, he found something. It's a new technology, a new young company out of San Diego, and I have solved that problem. So if you know of anyone who would like some significant cash flow, let me know, and I'll walk them through the system. So again, I'm telling the Lifewave story, but it's through your own personal experiences, and keep them raw. Don't be scared to open the kimono. I was embarrassed to say, but I'm an outside salesman, and I used to be so tired. I'd pull over to the side of the road or find a park, and I had to sleep for an hour and a half, and I knew it was wrong. I should be out there making cold calls, but I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I was just tired of drinking black coffee. And then a friend of mine introduced me to this new technology with no drugs, no caffeine, nothing in your body, no more naps, and my income has jumped 10%. So if you know anyone, again, I'm sharing the product through, let me tell you what happened to me, and then the dismount. So if you know of anyone who's got a similar challenge, well, let me know, and I can get them to a website, I can give them some product, whatever your dismount is, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so you built your list, and on the list you've got the friends, and those are the ones you call and say, hey, Mary, I haven't seen you since I was over at your daughter's birthday party, but let me tell you what happened to Kath and I. Give a minute. You know the story. I had a call from a friend. He was telling me about a new technology, and I got very curious. So I flew to, that's the story. That's what happened to me. So that's why we go to all my friends. But my dismount would be, so what I'd like you to do, because I learned this from George, so I would say, now, Mary, here's your next step. If you have a piece of paper and pencil, I want you to write this URL down. And go to this website. If you like what you see, call me back. If you have a piece of paper and pencil. Well, can you email it to me? Sure. What's your best email? And then I would email them. And I would say, again, give them a lot of time. Say, take your time, go through the website. It's very thorough. If you like what you see, call me back. All right. Now, guess what? I'm going to follow up. And I'm going to share the follow-up language with you in a second. But that's my dismount. I'm not going to try to close them on the phone. I'm going to, I shouldn't say that. Occasionally I do, but generally it's here's your next step. Go to the website. Everything is there, very, very thorough. And then if you have any questions, jot them down. I'll call you in, and we can go to the next step. And so that's sort of the dismount. That's with your friends. Or it might be, and I did probably 70% of this. I call my real estate buddy and say, hey, Fred, let me tell you what happened to me. I had a call a friend of mine, yada, yada, yada. So here's what we need to do. I got to get you a cup of coffee. You've got to try the product. I'm good tomorrow at 2 or 3. What's better for you? You don't want to say, we got to get together someday. No. You got to take control, and you got to give them an either or choice. And I can meet you tomorrow. Now, I don't know if tomorrow's good for them. Probably not. I don't care, but I want them to say that isn't good. Okay, because then I'm going to go to the next step, and I'll share it. So I'm going to call and say, hey, listen, so here's our next step. Bill, we got to get together. I want you to try this product. I'll buy you a cup of coffee. I'll meet you tomorrow at Starbucks there on Elm Street. Is 10 or 11 what's better for you? Oh, Chuck, I got a full day. I just couldn't do it. So that's fine. I'm looking at next week. Is Monday or Tuesday better? Well, let me check. Yeah, Tuesday would work. I say, okay, great, 10 or 11, what's better? Remember, either or, not Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's confusion. 2, either or. What's better, Monday or Tuesday? Boy, both those days are better. That's okay. I'm looking again. I got Friday, Saturday. What's better? Yeah, Saturday would work. Okay, great. Let's do it early. 8, 9 o'clock. What's better? Yeah, let's do 9 o'clock. Okay, great. See you there. Bye. And bingo. Now, when I'm with them, I use the 3-ring binder. And in there, I got pictures. I've got pictures of athletes with the product on. I've got pictures of Warren Buffett. I Xeroxed the cover of Pampered Chef, where there was a picture of Warren Buffett with Doris Christensen, who was the owner of Pampered Chef. So I have that picture of Warren, who loves networking. If you read her book, that's why Warren bought the company, because he loved the networking model. I have pictures of, things I've downloaded from the website, but I like to be there with a 3-ring binder, because it sort of, it kind of anchors what I say. When I say a number of athletes using the product, and then I open up and I've got pictures of soccer stars. Well, they're all over the website. It's very anchoring to someone you're talking to. Okay, now we're running out of time, but the cold market is monstrous. It's huge, and I really recommend that you get good, you get professional in the cold market. And the funny thing is, if you use these techniques, you'll never hear rejection, and you'll never talk to a stranger. Now, the first thing I did is I have a business card that says, I did it online, nothing fancy, and all it says is Chuck Michael, expansion coordinator, and my cell number. Nothing about Lifewave, no email, no website, just my name, big bold, Chuck Michael, expansion coordinator, cell phone. Now, when I was, early on, when I was building like a Banshee, before I was, much more involved with the teams, I would get 10 of those out a day, no matter what. And I would sometimes I was up in Canada, I had to go up for a meeting, and the meeting was at night, so through the day, I'm walking through the malls, I'm walking through the retail shops along the street. I walk in, and the clerk's here and come. I say, hi, are you the manager? That's the opener. Oh, hi, are you the manager? And they're either going to say yes or no, and 99% say, well, I'm just a clerk. I said, oh, I was curious because, now this is the elevator pitch, because I'm expanding, or we're expanding a technology company into Toronto, or actually I was up in Vancouver. The reason I asked is we're expanding a technology company up into Vancouver, and if you know of anyone who's looking for an upper income position with a high-tech new product, well, let me know. Here's my card. They could give me a call. Bye-bye. That's it. If they say, what's it all about? I say, it's about 5 minutes. Give me a call, and I'll walk you through it. Well, geez, can you tell me now? I'm so darn busy. Be the first to say goodbye. I'm so busy. Give me a call, or here, give me your number, and I'll get back with you. Folks, you do 10 a day, you're wealthy. If you don't intimidate, whoever, or if you're standing in line, like at McDonald's, you've got someone in front of you and someone behind you. You say, gee, are you from this area? Oh, no, I'm traveling. I'm in from Phoenix. Oh, my gosh, Phoenix. That's interesting because we're expanding a technology company into Phoenix. So if you know of anyone who's interested in an upper income opportunity, well, here's my card. Have them call me. Now, what does your card say? Expansion coordinator. Remember what you said? We're expanding. So the continuity is important. I'm the expansion coordinator. We're expanding a tech company into Phoenix. If you know of anyone who might have an interest, why, have them call my cell. It's right there, and I'd be happy to walk them through it, and I even give them a website. Bye-bye. So that's cold, but if you'll notice, my script doesn't set up rejection. I'm not pitching. I'm just sharing an idea. If you know of someone, feel free to give me a call. Now, if you want to warm up, like, let's say you want to practice your elevator pitch before you might call a friend. What you want to do, and again, I set numbers. Set a number of making 20 cadaver calls. Now, if you're going to be the world's greatest brain surgeon, you don't start on living, breathing human beings. They're going to take you to the pathology ward, and you're going to go through cadavers. And that's what you do with what I call the cadaver calls. You go to the phone book, and you look at everybody with your last name, and you call them. Remember, they're not going to jump through the phone and wring your neck. They don't know you from a bag of grapes. But it's a great opener. Oh, hi, Mary, Michael. This is Chuck Michael. I made a special point to give you a call because, first of all, we have the same last name. And secondly, if you have a second, I'd like to share with you what happened to me. Now, if they hang up, I'm excited because I got one of my 20 out of the way. Remember, I want to do 20. If they hang up, say, cool, that's good. Now I can go to number 19 quicker. But what happens is you have a chance to practice these scripts on your cadaver. So if they say, well, what happened to you? Say, oh, my gosh, where did you hear this? A friend of mine called me, and he introduced me to this new technology that would allow us to be positioned as a middleman as the product shipped all over the world. So I flew to Atlanta. I met the scientist, tell him my story. So if you know of anyone who's looking for an energy lift with no drugs, why, let me know. In fact, let me have your email, and I'll send you mine, and I can get you some product to try. Or if you have time, I'll walk you through the whole business side. But if you're a little bashful and you want to practice, that's a great way. And don't worry about it. Just do 20, and by the time you've done 20, you're bulletproof. You're golden. Well, listen, folks, I've done a lot of yakking, and Michelle, I'm sorry the time has gotten away here, but let's open the lines up, and if there's any questions, why, fire away.
Chuck, that was a great presentation. I love all your scenarios. If anybody would like to submit a question, ask a question, you can type it into the question box or raise your hand and I can unmute your microphone and you can ask Chuck your question directly. So it looks like we have Anna asking a question. Anna, I'm going to go ahead and unmute your microphone. Anna? Do you have a question for Chuck? Okay, maybe she has her hand up.
How do you hook up your mic?
Okay, well, if you are on the webinar system, you can unmute your microphone. There should be a button. Or if the system automatically mutes you, so I can manually unmute your microphone. So we do have a couple questions coming in. Renee said, thanks for a very good webinar, love. Dr. Keela asked if this webinar is recorded, and yes, it is recorded, and I'll go ahead and show you that slide. This webinar is recorded, and it will be uploaded to our back office. You go to resources, marketing tools, and go to webinars, and you can find this webinar along with all of our past webinars. Tracy's asking, can we have a copy of the elevator pitches or notes from the webinar?
Michelle, what I would recommend, again, this creates a little bit of a learning experience, is that I would listen to it from the back office and write it out. Now, you may have to listen to it 3 or 4 times to write it out, and that's a learning experience of hearing it, writing it out, seeing it as you're writing, and I would encourage it. That's why I don't like to just hand it out, because it's too static. I want someone to hear it, write it, see it, internalize it. It'll be more meaningful to you. So that's what I would do is in other words, transcribe what you're hearing.
I think that's a great idea, Chuck. I think I often listen to recordings like this on my commute to work, so whenever I'm in the car. So let's see here. Darla's asking, I'd like to hear more about how you train people once you sign them up. Did you have meetings? When you start someone in another state, how did you help them build?
That's a great question. Yeah. In fact, we have time but I do want to touch on it because it's not a lengthy. The best way to train is to have people watch you. If you're going to do a presentation, like let's say you have a friend, and we'll go back to when I was going to meet Bill in the coffee shop, I'm going to have one of my new recruits come with me. Say, hey, you got to come in and watch me meet a friend of mine, and I'm going to walk them through Lifewave, and you can maybe help out, watch. So I did a lot of that. Whenever I would meet someone, I would take someone with me, a new rep, or if they had a friend, we would call them together, and they would introduce me. In other words, they would call. I'd give them the script. I'd say, I just want you to call your brother. Hey, bro, listen, I got a friend on the line with me, Chuck Michael, and he and I are involved in a very interesting project together, and we thought about you. Do you have a minute? Okay, that's the script. Hey, bro, I got a friend on the line with me here, Chuck Michael from California, and he and I are involved in a very interesting project, not business, not whatever. It's a project together, and if you have a second, we thought about you, or I thought about you, and we'd love to get your opinions. I'd love to get your insight. Chuck, here's Fred. Now, what am I going to do to Fred? I say, oh, hi, Fred. Let me tell you what happened to me. The scripts never change. But the point is that he's listening. So I did a lot of training on the run. I always wanted someone with me. Then we would meet. My growth was interesting. When I started, I had 3 people, right? Big deal. But we would meet at Denny's, the coffee shop, at 8 o'clock on Saturday, the 3 of us. Because remember, there was no Lifewave anywhere. We were the true pioneers. So we would role play with one another our scripts. We would show each other the comp plan back and forth, and we were very honest. Oh no, that's way too long. Let's do it quicker. So we would meet and do coffee shop, not yakety yaks, but we would role play back and forth. Let me hear your elevator script. Nah, it's way too long. Let's write out, do it again. Yeah, that's good. We would practice. We would do that together, on a Saturday morning early. So what I like to do is get with my new reps and role play. I didn't just talk about. I'd hand them the yellow pad and I'd say, show me how the comp plan works. And you can imagine the reaction. Oh, Chuck, I don't have a clue. I said, well, that's not good. Let me show you what I do and jot it down. Go with me as I go, and then I want you to present it back to me. And the first time was lousy. Well, not bad. Do it again. I didn't do it 10 times. And so you've got to nail this. This is one of the things. Now, let me hear your elevator script when you call a friend. Nah, it's way too long. Let's do it again. So that's, I was kind of a Dutch uncle, but we all knew that if we did this right, we felt that we could build huge international distribution networks. So we saw the end results, and we knew that we had to get good together. So that was really the essence of my training. Nothing fancy, just a lot of right one-on-one. Let me hear it. Try it again. Write it out. Show me the plan. And if you're not doing that, it's scary because you trust me, they're not doing it on their own.
That's great. I love those tips. I think we have time for one more question from Julie. Hi, Chuck. Any extra nuggets for cold calling or walking into a business?
Well, no, not really, other than the key nuggets are I made a special point. I made a special point to stop by. That's where, like, I used to walk around with Suzanne Summers' book, and I would go to chiropractors, naturopaths, Whole Food stores, anything that looked green. And I'd walk in, and I'd say, oh, hi, you the manager? No, I'm just a receptionist. Well, that's kind of cool. This time I made a special point to stop by, because I'm not sure, but I used to learn with Suzanne Summers and her writings on natural wellness. Yeah, I read some of her stuff. Well, it's interesting because we're expanding a technology company that she talks about in her book. So if you know of anyone who's really interested in natural wellness, could really get excited about taking it to a whole national, international level of a very, very solid product distribution that Suzanne talks about, here's my card. I'm the expansion coordinator. Give me a call, and I can walk you through it. So it's a matter first point. Stop by. If you just catch, are you the manager? And they say, well, no, the manager's over there. And if the manager isn't busy, I walk over. So hi, I go, man, I'm Chuck Michael, and you're Mary, the clerk. You say you're the manager. Yeah, I am. Say, well, they especially want to stop by because we're in this area expanding a technology company. So if you know anyone who's got management skills, they love working with people, they're good trainers, and frankly, interested in upper income because of timing, it's like being first with Apple, first with Microsoft. Here's my card. Have them give me a call. Okay, and, well, if you'd like to, feel free. I don't have time now, but give me a call. I can walk you through it. Be the first to say goodbye. Be always in a hurry. If you say, I can't now. I'm late for an appointment, but I did want to stop by. But call me. Here's my card.
That's perfect, Chuck. Thanks so much. This has been a great webinar. You're getting a lot of great feedback on our question box saying thanks for a great and inspiring webinar, great answer. So one more thing before we close the call. I just want to point out that all of you who are listening today could listen to Chuck or other leaders give live presentations and trainings just like this by attending one of our live events. As I mentioned, Chuck spoke at our 2016 kickoff event in Southern California in January, and we have our May tour, Euro tour coming up in Vienna and Dusseldorf, and then also our large meeting in Copenhagen. And at these events, you're going to be able to hear from local leaders giving training sessions. David Schmidt, of course, our founder, will be there speaking on aloe vera and phototherapy. He's also going to be doing at the May tour a special patch training session demonstration. We'll also be hearing from Mike Collins, our president, and Lauren Castronovo, our chief marketing officer. And we'll have other training sessions from leaders and specialized field development resources that are really going to help you grow your Lifewave business. So log on to lifewave.com/events and make sure to register now. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can email me, Michel Ocampo, at mocampo@lifewave.com. Thanks so much, Chuck, for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. You're a good audience. I didn't hear anybody hang up, so that's always a that's always a good sign. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Great evening. Bye-bye.